I'm highly delighted to be part of this quarter media movement. I want to start by saying media is a very powerful organ. Though some people underestimate the power of media, media is the scapegoat that all services in the government and in the community are being used to traverse the entire world, let me say, this time, because we find out that maybe anything said here can be seen at the other end of the world in a twinkle of an eye. We have gone to that level right now. So if our aim is to reach the community, is to influence behavior, is to change attitudes, media is the only way that can guarantee that. Our activities are mainly community-based activities, and they are meant mostly preventive activities. We believe that prevention is better than cure, and also by our role we are meant to reach out to the grassroots, and this is the only way that we could achieve this, by engaging the media, both the print and the visual, the audio, all are here with us to ensure that messages that concerns the health related activities in the states are being dispersed. I want to start by mentioning just a few among the activities of the State Primary Health Care Board, which are to ensure that all children are being fully vaccinated. Children are provided with adequate, nutritious food, right from exclusive breastfeeding to complementary breastfeeding, to ensure that childbirth spacing are being conducted adequately, so that it has been proven as a way of increasing wealth in communities, to also ensure that women of childbearing age have safe deliveries in their various homes and facilities. We all know that deliveries are events of joy. So we want to make sure that no woman lost her life or have any adverse event that has to do with disability or mobility as a result of delivery. So we ensure that antenatal care services and safe deliveries are being conducted by skilled birth attendants. We also make sure that behavioral change, communication in terms of hygiene are being promoted, because that is the key to disease prevention. So having mentioned some of the major activities of State Primary Health Care Board, we are here in the midst of the experts in the various fields who are going to highlight our achievement in those areas and share the challenges in the same areas where the role of the media will become conspicuous in changing those behaviors that are militating against the achievements of the universal health care coverages. I want to also use this opportunity to still ride on the existing opportunity of having the media crew with us, to note that presently we have received reports from different parts of the country of an existing outbreak of diphtheria. Diphtheria is a bacterial disease which is usually affects the children, but it's a disease that affects virtually everybody, but mostly children under the age of 1. It is one of the vaccine preventable diseases which is being prevented through immunization. Unfortunately, this disease is currently reported as outbreak in some of the states, especially Kano State, which we know we have border with, and also because of the current movement of people, especially the women, who we know very well are mostly engaged in our relationship in terms of all sorts of ceremonies, ranging from weddings, naming ceremonies, and all forms of ceremonies. You find that there is a lot of movement. There are businesses, and also, because we mention ceremonies because that is where the women and children move across states. So, having reported these cases in Kano made it compel us as a state to use this opportunity to call on our traditional leaders, religious leaders, our politicians, and also head of parastatals, especially the Ministry of Education, the SUBEB, where we know they have influence in carrying out important messages that could be used to prevent the same infection across the country and especially in our states. So we are using this medium to call on these stakeholders, more especially the Ministry of Education and also the SUBEB, to ensure that this message is being carried especially to school teachers, proprietors of private schools, to ensure that high level of surveillance is being put especially among the teachers, that any child who present with signs and symptoms of cough, sneezing, and other respiratory related illnesses should be advised to be taken for medical care and not to be allowed to come to the school, so that this suspected infectious disease will not be spreaded. Furthermore, teachers, caregivers, and our stakeholders are advised to call on parents and guidance to ensure that children are fully immunized, as diphtheria is one of the diseases that can be prevented through vaccination. Like I made mention, our traditional rulers are highly respected. Our religious leaders are highly respected. So we are calling on them. They are doing it and want them to continue to do it, to further carry these messages to the communities to ensure that children are being immunized. This is the only way that will prevent our children from contracting this deadly and highly morbid disease of diphtheria and other vaccine preventable diseases. So having made mention of this, I'm now going to welcome you once again and also assure you that the team of our staff that are here with us will give you an update concerning the quarterly performance of these immunization services and other health-related services in the various LGAs, with the hope that messages will be developed by the media crew we are having in their various outfits to ensure that behavioral change communication has taken place so that we achieve the desired target of the services that we are rendering in the state. I want to use this opportunity to thank our Honorable Commissioner of Health, who is unavoidably absent here, giving us all the needed support to ensure that services, especially of that of healthcare and primary specifically, are being rendered across the states. We are also appreciable of our Permanent Secretary of the State's Ministry of Health, also unavoidably absent, but we enjoy the support that we receive in terms of the healthcare delivery services in the states. Finally, we want to use this opportunity to thank His Excellency for providing all the counterpart funding support and also an enabling environment for conducting all the services for primary healthcare and healthcare delivery services in the states. We want to also thank our religious and traditional leaders, our dedicated health workers, the gentlemen of the press for committing themselves time and energy in ensuring that messages of this nature are being delivered. I was asked to make a brief translation of what I mentioned in Hausa for the purpose of our teaming communities. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
If this meeting closed by now, definitely we have achieved what we expected to achieve, because Ilyas has said it all. But nevertheless, specifically this meeting is just to provide a feedback to the media personnel on our RI performance, routine immunizations performance 2022 to date. Based on our, if you can recall, based on our action points on our last meeting, we have promised to be giving updates on the current situation of routine immunizations. Secondly, we want to also update the participant knowledge on their role as a media personnel on promotion RI services in the state. Number 3 is also to update the knowledge of the participants in the ways to engage traditionals and religious leaders in promoting RI services in our society. And these 3 key main objectives is what we are expected to achieve at this meeting. And I believe we have almost achieved part of it. But we'll see, I hope by the end of this meeting, definitely we'll achieve what we are expecting. Thank you so much.
To embrace the various programs, primary healthcare programs that are being rolled out. The entire programs, I want us to keep one thing in mind. The entire programs that we are being rolled out in the health sector, not only primary healthcare, are aimed at protecting lives and preventing infant and child and maternal morbidity and mortality. Our main objective is to reduce the number of women dying during delivery or the number of children dying before they reach the age of 5 years of age. Because that is when they have weak immunity, which means they are vulnerable at that age to many diseases. Now, having said that, today our engagement is going to be a little bit different because we are going to make it as interactive as possible. We keep on saying immunization, immunization, immunization. We said immunization gives us protection against diseases, but often more than not, we haven't known what are we actually protecting with these vaccines, or what are we protecting with this immunization? So before we go into a presentation of what performance is as a state, or which LGA has the highest performance or which LGA has the lowest performance, we are going to look at some of the reasons why and the diseases that we are preventing with our vaccines, with the immunization services. So please, let's go to the next page. Go back.
Sorry, yes. Maybe for us here, we can't see very well to do the
Oh, I go and stand there.
Yes.
So here's a throat. It's a throat of a person infected with diphtheria. These are one of the classical symptoms of a diphtheria disease. Now, this diphtheria has very high mortality among children, as we can hear from the report that is coming up from CDC. Now, this is diphtheria. Can we all see it? Children at the age of less than 1 year are more vulnerable to getting this disease, and even adults can get it, but it is more highly infectious among children. Let's go to the next one. What you are seeing here is a children on admission with ptosis. Like diphtheria is also respiratory diseases. Children who are infected with this kind of conditions, they require admission. As you can see, this child is receiving treatment in the hospital. Now, next one. This is a classical presentation of measles cases. As you can see, these are also some of the conditions that are common in our society. This is measles. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next one. So let's go to the next one. Okay, this is an individual who is suffering from tuberculosis. You have seen how wasted his muscles are, his bone structure are all out because he's trying to fight this. Let's go to the next one. This is a classical presentation of what is called tetanus. In our language, which is called Senkau. You can see this is a child. So in this case, it is called neonatal tetanus. And this one is an adult individual who is also, look at his face, look at the muscular contraction. This is a classical presentation of tetanus. Let's go to the next one. So this is the liver. You can see this is the normal liver from that side. How it is normal. This is what happens when somebody gets liver cancer, hepatocellular carcinoma. This is what happens. This is how liver from that liver to this one. And this as a result of living with chronic hepatitis, which led to cirrhosis and then led to hepatocellular carcinoma. So why am I presenting all these pictures? I'm showing these pictures so that when you are sensitizing people, you in your mind, in your own mind, you have the perception of what you are doing, what you are trying to achieve. The main objective is to prevent our people from getting any of this. And all the pictures, all the scary pictures that I'm showing you, they are from the diseases that we are trying to prevent, that we are preventing with our vaccines. These vaccines, they are available everywhere and they are free. And if we give it to our people, if each and every member, if each and every child within our community is immunized against these diseases, none of our children will ever have any of these diseases again. Not only that, he contributed to the restriction or stoppage in distribution of that disease. Because as an individual, if you are immunized, those diseases will never replicate inside you. By that, you are not able to transmit them to the next person. So we need to get this picture in our mind, and also know that within our own as media personality, if we are trying to pass the message, it is not a message that the primary health care said these vaccines are important. No, you from today, you know they are important because I have shown you the diseases that we are preventing with these vaccines that we are trying to get to our people. Now, in Zamfara State, before we continue, we have over 657 health facilities that on weekly basis are providing these vaccines free every day. What we need is for those children, as soon as the mother is in labor, take her to hospital so that she can get delivered in the, she can deliver her baby in the hospital. When she delivers her baby will receive the vaccines that will protect her against this disease. Is the first one. Now, the importance of that is that even if the mother is infected with hepatitis B and she has been to ANC and she attended the ANC and she delivered at the facility, that child will be protected against this deadly hepatitis B diseases. So that is one of the important one. Now, the rest of the diseases that we have shown you from diphtheria, for example, now people are scared of diphtheria. They are saying that now we have outbreak of diphtheria, or in Hausa known as mashako. We have vaccines for bacteria, and those vaccines we are giving to children. That is why the outbreak of it is like new, because we succeeded in preventing it. We protected many children against diphtheria. That is why you haven't been hearing about it. But those places where the immunization coverage is not very good, or it is not quality, or it hasn't reached all the children, that's why they are having the outbreak of diphtheria. But for us here, the situation is a little bit better because we did everything. The government has done everything in ensuring that those vaccines are available everywhere and people have access to them for free. So let's go to the next one. Now, there are some terminology that you'll be hearing us mentioning, like penta, like PCB, like measles, like that. We will explain what they mean. Let's go to the next one. So this is the little background of Zamfara State. I don't think we need to go through this thing. These are the distribution of LGS. Those are the number of ones we have, the population, the under 15, the under 5. Let's go to the next one. So we have some indicators that we are using to measure our performance as a state to ensure that our vaccines reach everywhere. These are some of them. Let's go to the next one. So the first one that we are going to start is pentavalent vaccine. Now, this vaccine, we are giving it when the children reach the age of either 6 weeks or 4 weeks after receiving the first dose of hepatitis B vaccine, or they receive OPV0, or they receive BCG. So it is expected that as soon as a child is born in the hospital, he will receive 3 antigen, 3 vaccine. One is hepatitis B0, which will prevent the child from getting hepatitis B from his mother, even if the mother has it. The other one is the OPV0, the vaccine that will protect the newborn against polio. Then the third one is BCG. Now this BCG will provide protection against tuberculosis. So these 3, a child is supposed to receive them as soon as he was born. Now, why is it important that we are emphasizing that we call the mothers to deliver at the hospital? Reason being that, one, the mother's health will be taken care of. The baby's newborn health will be taken care of. And in addition to those 2 things, a child will be given vaccine for hepatitis B. Now, why is it important to receive that vaccine at that age? Statistics have shown that children who delay receiving that 0 dose, if their mother have it, they have higher chances of getting this virus from their mothers. Now, what happens if they get it? As an adult now, if you get the disease, statistically you have about 15% chances of getting chronic hepatitis. But if a newborn gets it,
who is under the age of 1 year, his chances are from 75 to 95% chance that he will get chronic hepatitis. And when he gets chronic hepatitis, he has higher chance of getting that cancer that I have shown you. So why am I saying this? Let our message be centered around encouraging mothers, encouraging pregnant women to go to hospital and deliver at the hospital. So that one, she will be checked and she will be taken care of, her baby will be checked and be taken care of, and also her baby will be protected against hepatitis and other vaccine preventable diseases at that age. Now, the next vaccine that we give is Penta, which you mentioned, which you see here. Now, Penta is a combination of 5 vaccines in one dose. Those 5 vaccines, they protect the child against 5 diseases with one vaccine. With one vaccine, you protect 5 diseases. And one of those one is diphtheria. So those children who receive that pentavalent vaccine, by God's grace, they will never have diphtheria. No matter the outbreak that is going to happen or is happening, they will never have that disease because they already have antibodies, they already have immunity against those diseases. Now, in addition to that diphtheria, we have what is called ptosis. You remember the second picture I've shown. So this Penta alone will give protection against the first picture, which is diphtheria, the second picture I've shown, which is ptosis, the third one is hepatitis B, second dose, the third one, the fourth one, sorry, is Haemophilus influenza type B, which is also respiratory infection. The fifth one is tetanus. So with this vaccine, if your child is immunized with this Penta, he is fully protected for the rest of his life against these diseases that we have shown their picture on the slide. So based on this, this is the performance of LGA. These are the percentage of children we have reached in each LGA with that Penta. What I'm saying is that, for example, in Anchor, 92% of all the children in Anchor has been immunized with that Penta, which means they have very low risk of getting that diphtheria. So even if, God forbid to say we have diphtheria in Zamfara, we will not have it in Anchor because majority of the children have been immunized in Anchor. Okay? For this year. For previous years, they didn't have, so if it attacked them, if you are not vaccinated, you may get it. But for this one, for the month of December, this is where we are. Now, next LJ is Bakura. You see, Bakura, they have only 54% coverage, which means there is a lot of work to be done. And already now we are meeting with all the stakeholders, trying to resolve this problem to ensure that all of them, all the children receive their vaccines. Next one you see is Bindum Magaji. They are almost 100%, very good. Bukuyum above 90, very good. Bukudu 84%. Then we have Gumi around 100%, also very good. Gusau not so good, only 62.2%. Then we have Aranamuda around 54.9%. Maradun excellent 95.8%. Maru excellent 99%. Shinkapi 96%. Talata Mafara 62%, which is not very good. Then Sape almost 98%. Zulmi local government 93%. So what we are saying, based on this data that we have, majority of the children in Zamfara State are protected against that diphtheria. Those who are eligible in the month of December. So as they are being born, before they reach the age of 1 month, because these diseases mostly they attack and they kill children that are under 1 year of age. So we are trying to protect them. That's why we are giving them these vaccines. So next. So as we say, that Penta has been given 3 times. We give the first one, we give the second one, we give the first one after 4 weeks, 6 weeks of age. We give the next one after 10 weeks of age. Then we give the third one after 14 weeks of age. Now, in addition to that Penta, we also give other vaccines that protect against other diseases. Like The first time you are giving penta, you are giving also PCB1. Now PCB protect against pneumonia. We are during the cold season now, children, especially newborn, if you go to facility now, majority of them who are not immunized, you see them having pneumonia. Okay, so we give against pneumonia. We also give against rota. Now rota is a disease that causes diarrhea in children. Okay, which we call in Hausa Zamfara. Now, in addition to that, we also give OPV1. Now, OPV1 is for the polio again. We give 0, then now we give 1. So, this is after that. Then we give penta 2 along with other antigens. Then we give penta 3 also along with other antigens. Now, this is penta 3 coverage. As you can see, those LGS that are performing in the last month, they have been best performing in the previous months. But for the month of December that we are in, this is the coverage by LTA. The LGS that perform poorly are Bakura, Gusau, Kauranamoda, and Talata Mapara. The rest that perform considerably better, but they were not able to reach their target, is Bukuyum, Bumbutu, so these ones they have done well, but they were not able to reach the expected target. Now, what do we have target of is 90%? If you can see there, you can see a line drawn that said in between 80 and 100. At the middle, that is 90%. Why do we have 90% as a target? If we are able to reach 90% of all our children, that means by translation that diseases cannot circulate within the population. That is what is called herd immunity. We have enough population with antibodies against specific virus that such virus or such bacteria cannot circulate within the population. Because as soon as that virus comes in contact with a vaccinated individual, the virus dies. So that is why you are seeing that line there on top, which is the target. So that is why we want to reach. We want all the local government areas in the state to reach that line, their coverage to reach 90%. When we reach that, inshallah, we will be free from all these vaccine preventable disease, viruses or bacteria, and our people will never have to suffer again from them. Next. So this is the measles. You have seen the picture of measles. Now, this is how the coverage is. I don't think we need to go through all of them because this is a media engagement. So this presentation is the presentation that we have done with those stakeholders who are working at those LGS. As we are talking to you now, those LGS that are not doing very well, they are being engaged. That is why ES has to rush, because another meeting is currently going on with even ward focal persons, the ones who are responsible for coordinating the activities of immunization at the ward level. So all of them are being invited in the state. We sat down with them last 2 weeks. We discussed deeply what were the reason for this performance or low performance. Even though you are seeing the performance here as low, this is some of the best performance in the country. Zamfara is among the best performing, or we can say hardest working state when it comes to immunization. So thank you very much. So I don't know if there are questions or...
My name is Farida Saadu Ali. I'm here on behalf of UNICEF to make a presentation on effective communication as regards to the media. As we all know, media are very important and key stakeholders in disseminating information. So thereby, it is very important for us to know the strategies and the properties of a good communication or message delivery. So communication for effective RI service delivery. Next slide. What is the role of media in improving the RI and other PHC services that we have? This is the background. The media has been considered as an important tool for communicating information about vaccines and increasing awareness and motivating the public to make important decisions. So this is a fact that we know. Anything that comes from the media, especially in this part of the country, that is the northern part of the country, we all know that most of our people rely on media, that's the radio, for their information. So for you to disseminate information, most people, or let me say majority of the people, use those information for decision making. Next slide. In health, communication involves one, identifying. You have to identify what is that thing that you want to talk about. As a media person, we talk about politics, we talk about religion, we talk about health services. So you have to identify what is the key thing that you want to discuss, segmenting and targeting specific groups and audience with particular strategies, messages, and training programs. Communication is conveyed through various channels. Of course, one of the channels is the radio that I just finished mentioning, which is the major one in this part of the country. Importance of communication. Without well-planned, adequately funded strategic communication, immunization programs fall short of meeting and sustaining coverage goals. What is the role of communication in creating effective RI service delivery? Number one, inform or educate communities to understand the meaning of relevance of vaccination. As a media personnel, it is very important that for each message we are passing out to the public, we should take cognizance of our key targets. We should make sure that the message is being passed in such a way that it is well informed, they are being educated and understand what they are being told. Remind caregivers of required vaccination and to recall those who are due. Teach skills related to assessing and communicating about vaccinations. Like our PM just finished presenting now, I'm sure most of us are aware of some of the vaccines we do give to our under 1 children. That is education, because you can't give out what you don't know. You can't create awareness without even knowing what you want to tell people. Provide to support people in addressing challenges to vaccination that arise from their day-to-day activities. It is only through by knowing this health information that is regarding the routine immunization. It is when you know it, that is when you are going to address some issues, even if they may arise during passing those information. Next slide. What is the role of communication? Facilitating decision-making, presenting options related vaccination decision-making in an unbiased and impartial manner. By so doing, most of the caregivers, some of them, even if they are being sensitized maybe by their neighbors or other health facility in charges, but by hearing it through the media, maybe from the radio, they will better make informed decision, because they will say, okay, this is the major means we normally receive information. Since it's coming from the radio, why not I take my child to the health facility for vaccination? Bridging communication gaps between groups and people in issues related to vaccination. Enhancing community ownership by increasing community participation in order to build trust in the immunization system. We play a very, very key and important role. Most of the people in the community rely on those information coming from the radio. So once we disseminate proper information at the right time and to the right target, definitely it will assist them in making the decision they are supposed to make. Next slide, please. Characteristics of effective communication. As I said earlier, for us to disseminate an information and make sure that that information is rich and of quality, there are certain characteristics of which it's supposed to possess. Number one is accuracy. The content is without errors of facts and interpretation. You have to make sure as a media personnel that any information you're giving out is accurate. Because for you to make a single mistake, it's tantamount to you telling the whole community members or misleading them. So that information has to be accurate regarding the routine immunization. Number two is availability. The content is delivered or placed where caregivers or parents can access it. It is very important. Once we are giving information, we normally use the TV stations, we use the radio. So let's say, for instance, we only use the TV stations. We know that most of our people in the rural communities don't have access to television. So definitely for us to make sure that those messages are available for them to use, we have to make sure we disseminate same information using the radio stations. Balance. The content should address the benefits and the risks associated with it. As in RI that we are discussing, we have to tell the caregivers, take your children for routine immunization. And for instance, if you observe this, let's say adverse event for no immunization, maybe your child's body after receiving the vaccine is hot, or he's having headache, or he's doing this, make sure you go back to that health facility and complain. Let's not keep telling them, take your children, take your children. Okay, what if after the vaccination something happened? What am I to do? So this is what I'm trying to explain here. You should make sure that both the benefit and the risk is being explained totally to the caregivers. Consistency. The content remains the same over time, even from other sources. Like for instance, regarding RI that we are discussing, our Seric PM just finished presenting. He said the first vaccine that a child is supposed to receive is the HB, OPV0 and BCG. Thank you very much. So let it not be that another person, or let me say another radio station will say first visit a child is supposed to receive only 2 vaccines. Let the information go in consistency. You say A, another radio station say A. You say B, say B. So in so doing, you understand that they say, okay, we understand that first visit a child is supposed to receive 3 vaccines. Cultural competence, the design, implementation, and evaluation process should consider the culture of the community. Very, very important. Like I'm doing this presentation now, if I'm to go to a rural settlement, I won't be standing in front of them speaking English. I would have to communicate to them in a language they will understand. Even as that here in Zamfara, or let me say within the Hausas, you can go to a specific area. Let's say Hausa in Zamfara is different from the Hausas that is being spoken in Sokoto State. So you can even take that in cognizance. Despite the fact that you are disseminating information in Hausa language, you take cognizance of, okay, this part of the state, this is the Hausa they understand. This part of the state, this is the, by so doing, everybody is going to understand fully what is going on. Evidence-based, it is based on what is widely known, accepted, and proven. For anything you stand here and say, it has a base, it has an evidence. It's not just that we stand here and present it, somebody will come and present a different scenario. Like the data that was just presented, it came from the national. It's not that we sat down and input all the figures. It's something that is evidence-based. If you Google it or if you check on the internet, you are going to see it. Next slide, please. Reach. The content gets to or is available to as many people as possible. Like I explained earlier, you have to make it available. You have to make sure that those messages get to the target audience. Like for instance, if we use only the television, most of the people in the rural community, which are mainly the targets, because here in the urban communities, you find out that a caregiver doesn't need to be sensitized that much to have to take her child to the facility. But in the rural communities, where we have those targets, those children that are missed out, they've not been vaccinated, that is what I'm trying to explain by saying reach. Those messages should reach to those target audience. Reliability, the content is up to date and credible. Let's make sure as a media house we always have updates. Like for instance, we have a newly introduced vaccine called the Rota vaccine that we just had from our PM just now. It helps the children. That's the diarrhea disease. It's a virus, Rota virus. It's the one that is affecting children that causes diarrhea in them. But when a child is vaccinated with that Rota vaccine, you realize that even if the child wants to start eating, it will not affect him that much. So that vaccine was newly introduced. Before, we don't have it in our RI schedule. So these are kind of updates as a media house that we need to be asking and seeking for information to know what are those updates that we have, and update our information to be passed to the society. Repetition, the message is repeated over time to reinforce the impact with a given audience and to reach new generations. Like we all know, each and every blessed day we have women going to the health facility or at home giving birth to new children. So our population is increasing day by day. So therefore, despite the fact that we come here and sensitize people, doesn't mean that next meeting we won't repeat the same thing. By the time we keep doing it, everybody that is even new that didn't hear before is going to understand and hear the message. Engaging underserved. We have what we call underserved. Underserved people are those people that can't access, they don't have the opportunity to access, or let me say the services that are supposed to be given to them can't reach them. Those people, we call them the underserved people or the underserved communities. Underserved and hard-to-reach communities have low immunization rates associated with, number one, not all communications reach them. Yes, definitely. There are some places that, as a health personnel, you can't go there. Even if they say you should go and take those services, you yourself know, maybe due to insecurity, you can't take those services there. Outreach services are often financed. So these are all the challenges that our RI personnel normally face. So as a media person, anytime we come across these underserved people, these are people from the group, let me say, hard-to-reach settlements, insecure settlements that can't access these vaccines. These are the messages that we are supposed to target them more, because they don't have access to these messages. They don't have radio, they don't have talk more of televisions. So they should be our main focus whenever we come across them. This is the summary. Children do not get vaccinated if caregivers do not have the knowledge about the safety of the vaccine. So as a child doesn't know what is good for him. It's only the caregiver, and the caregiver will not take her child for vaccination if she's not properly educated and know the importance of that vaccine. Poorly informed caregivers are less likely to complete routine immunization schedules. When they are not informed, they don't know the importance, so definitely, even if they start, they are going to break along the way. Culturally sensitive and evidence-based RI communication is key to successful immunization service delivery. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My name is Yusuf. Like what they said, I'm the state team lead of Shigari Foundation, which Shigari Foundation is a non-profit organization funded by Dr. Ali Fati. I think you know Ali Fati, the former Minister of Health. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So my presentation is on role and responsibility of traditional leaders in immunization. Though Shigari Foundation, its primary assignment is on traditional leaders, traditional institution, to strengthening institution, to strengthening collaboration between primary health center or primary health care or primary board to traditional institution. So I think that is why I'm giving this presentation. So, but before I go, when we said immunization, we know we have two types of immunization. Please, we have two types of immunization. Please, can I know one from you here? We have two types of immunization. Yeah, we have two types of immunization.
We have the current routine immunization.
Sorry, I can't hear you very well.
We have this routine as well.
One, thank you. So who can give me one? Let me hear from female side. Huh? Mata. Supplementary immunization. Can we put our hand together, please? We have two types of immunization. We have supplementary immunization and routine immunization. So we are expecting the traditional leaders to cover all the immunization. So for routine immunization, we know routine immunization is ongoing. It's ongoing. It's on daily basis, but it depends on the way the health personnel and the traditional leader speaks it. Well, supplemental, it is due to some circumstance. Well, the routine immunization is weak, so that's why we are coming with supplemental immunization, just to supplement. When we say supplement, just to add on. So, our tradition. Why are we involving our traditional leaders in immunization? Why? Please let me hear from you. You know better than me. Why are we involving traditional leaders? Can I hear you? Why?
They are more closer to the people.
Sorry?
They are more closer to the people.
They are more closer to the people. You too, you are closer to the people. In your house, within your neighbors, you are very close to them. One, okay, let me hear one again.
More respected in their community.
More respected. Any additional?
Influential.
They are influential. So thank you very much with this. But in addition, our culture here, we respect traditional institutions than anybody within the community. Traditional leaders can easily, hello, please, can I have your attention here? Traditional leaders, you know, their words are more considerable than your word. When they said A, if that A is A, or even that is B, you know, the people within that place, they will respect it. So that is why, you know, we are involving traditional leaders in routine immunization. And at the same time, they perform very well in routine immunization. You see, I'm very pleased with the president, and I am proud of the president, because the president was the first state to introduce involvement of traditional leaders. If you remember, sometimes in 1998, where Kekuna Huche, or some of you who are here, who are there by then, Kekuna Huche was the first person, you know, just to become as a traditional leader supporting immunization, which from there, you know, he sold the idea at the national level, where the national level, you know, directed all the country, all the remaining states to emulate from Zamfara. So the involvement of traditional leaders yielded a great result, because more than 100 times for polio eradication, but the country was not able to eradicate polio. But involving them within 2 years, the polio become what? A history. So their role is very important. So, like, you know, your role too is very important, and their role is very important. What we are expecting from traditional leaders. Sorry, please. Okay, so what we are expecting from traditional leaders. First of all, we want the traditional leaders, we know that the tradition is just like a pilot to the progress. Whatever you want to do, just go through them. They are the, you know, like a gate or a door. When you want to enter the house, you have to go through what? Through the door, if you want to succeed. So when you go through them, your problem is being solved. So we are expecting them in 3 places. One, implementation, pre-implementation, implementation, and after implementation. We are talking about, like in polio eradication, that is supplementary immunization. So let them be involved in flooding. Why are we involved in flooding? Why are we involving traditional leaders in flooding? Why?
They should be in the picture.
They should be in the picture. That's what, but that is one important thing. Why?
I mean, there's an idea.
They have the knowledge and the idea, but there's very important things why we are involving them.
Because they are influential people.
They are appropriate, I agree with you. So thank you. In addition to that, you know, they know their boundaries. They know their boundaries. You cannot, you know, skip from one boundary to another boundary. They know all their boundaries. They know their catchment areas. They know, you know, their settlements. So when you are planning, they know that, you know, they cannot miss the plan, their settlements. They cannot come across into other settlements. So that is one. Then number 2, in planning they're supposed to be in monitoring. Some of them will be in monitoring and some of them will be in supervision. But they're supposed to be monitoring what is happening. Which area is being covered, which area is not covered. Just like what is happening now. We know that we have some inaccessible settlements now. Like last year, there are so many settlements that are not reached. Why? Because of, you know, boundary. I know that Selina was here. They tried to see that, you know, they penetrate and reach that places. But very unfortunate, due to some problems, you know, they were not able to do that. But I believe this year, all those no-go area, you know, by the, you know, support of Selina, they will go there and backset all the people there. Then we have to liaise with them because they know their terrain, they know their settlement. If you want to go to somewhere else, they will tell you don't go there because that area is A, B, C, D. So they will advise you, or they will attach somebody that will support you to go there and you know, do your work. Another thing is that, like local rice, We have non-compliance in so many places. But when we go through traditional leaders, we know that they will solve that non-compliance. So one important thing, our, like, you know, traditional leaders, that's small traditional like Ungwa, Sarkin Aski, Sarkin Power, they are all respecting traditional leaders. They know that if there's anything contrary to what they are doing, traditional leaders will talk to them. So if there's any progress, traditional leaders will, you know, impress them. So like we normally use those, you know, institutions like Sarkin Power and what they are our stakeholders for immunization. Then another thing which is very, very important is reconciliation meeting. Reconciliation meetings happens between traditional leaders and IC in charge of the health facility. So in charge of health facility and Mangua, or is it Mangua you are using for reconciliation? Yes. Okay, like Mangua. So Mangua has the record of the newborn children. He will come to the hospital to meet with IC, maybe every month. Is it every month you are doing it, or every week?
Every month.
Every month. So he will come with his data and he will, you know, compare with the IC data to see that the number of newborn children there, how many of them were, you know, vaccinated? How many of them, you know, didn't come to hospital? So from there, they will negotiate. He will tell them where Mr. A and Mr. B were here so time and their children were vaccinated, but very unfortunate, Mr. C, D, E, they are not here. So Mengwa will use his, you know, power to go there and see those, you know, household and try to mobilize them to come to bring their children for vaccination. So that's another important of the immunization. So after all now, Shigari Foundation discovered that when Ungua's all traditional leaders are not, you know, taken along for all the activities. So therefore, Shigari Foundation came in to support traditional leaders, to train them. Very fortunate in the last quarter of last year, we were able to establish Emirate Health Committee. We have 19 Emirates Council. And very fortunate we are able to have functional Emirate Health Committee in each Emirate now. So at the same time, we involve the secretaries because the secretaries, maybe some of them are more powerful than the emirs. You cannot see the emir without secretary. But if secretary, you know, agrees with you, you can easily go and see him. So we train them. So the secretaries and the emirs and the chairman of the health committee are working hand in hand now. So in case, if you want any report for any LGA, if you find it very difficult, you can easily meet the secretary of that LGA, or secretary of that emirate, or the chairman of that emirate. He will support you and he will provide you with all the information. So with this, I think this is the few things I can say, but ES has said something which is very important. Your work is very important. If you want to create war, within 5 minutes you will create it here. Am I right? Yes. No, you see, if you want, you know, the problem to be solved, within 5 minutes, you know the way to, you know, give that information. Am I right? Yes. So please and please, let us try to see that the information we are going to disseminate to the people is the right information. Nobody is above mistake. I could remember when I was an APR manager, that was in 1980 something, during Mahmoud campaign. This type of meeting, I organized this type of media meeting. I made a presentation. By then, we had 86 cases of white polio virus. I made the presentation. But very unfortunate, on the following morning, around 6 o'clock, you know, I got a call from London. APR manager, what is happening in Zamfara state? I said, what? Who is talking? I said, when is this Margaret from World Health Organization in London? What is happening? She saw that 86 children, you know, died due to polio. I said, what? I said, okay, try to go and get that paper. You know, before 7 o'clock, I got getting calls from Abuja. So I rushed and bought that tram. The caption there was very surprising. Polio killed. It is the actual in Zamfara, said by State Abia Manager, and the picture of the state government. And it's not what I presented. Around 2 o'clock, I was called to, Government House to go and defend myself. But very, very fortunate, I have all the, evidence that, my presentation. I have the hard copy, I have the soft copy. So when I went there, even the tribunal was invited. All the commissioners were there. So Governor Mahmoud said, "Manager, are you the one who presented this?" I said, "Sir, I made a presentation, but it's not the one." What I presented, I said we had 68 cases of WPB in the president. And then, very fortunate, we have all the pictures. He said, "Okay." I said, "This is the presentation, and this is the address of each child." So the tribunal was called. Who wrote this? He said, "Wallahi, I'm not the one who wrote it. What I sent to them, this is what I sent them. It's not what I, So it still becomes just a debate. So from there, Mahmoud said, "Okay, MPA, but there's no chairman. You see? So yes, it is good to be good. So with this, I can thank you to everybody. Please bear with me. I didn't prepare, presentation. When I come here to say hi to them, they said, "Okay, I have to come and, So thank you so much. If you have any question, please. Okay, thank you.
Ga Mai Biredi TV, Mai Biredi TV, ga Mai Biredi TV, faɗakarwa nishaɗi, sai Mai Biredi TV. Gagara gasa online TV, Mai Biredi TV, gidan TV mai faɗakarwa, tare da nishaɗantarwa.